So Anthony Lynn, let me get your opinion on Anthony Lynn. You were the general manager of the Bills, and as I recall, he was the running backs coach of the Bills. But then the offensive coordinator, got fired. This is under Rex Ryan. You're the GM. Rex Ryan is the head coach. And so the offensive coordinator gets fired, and Anthony Lynn elevates from running backs coach to offensive coordinator mid-season. As a matter of fact, you guys, the Bills, were out in L.A. to play the Rams, and I can remember interviewing Coach because this is when he was elevating, but the Bills don't eventually hire him when they fire Ryan, and he gets picked up by the Chargers. He's been here. The fact is, they haven't done anything, and they have a quarterback who has Hall of Fame statistics or had. I'm just curious. I mean, everything you know of Anthony Lynn and the setup that Alex talked about earlier with the roster that the Chargers have, you think Anthony Lynn is the kind of head coach that can lead a team to a Super Bowl?
I think so. And I'll tell you this much. Two reasons. One, because of the man he is, but two, because he knows how to lead men. And I think what a lot of people get misconstrued about a head coach is that he needs to be a great coach. In my opinion, the best head coaches are great leaders of men. You have offense and defensive coordinators that are going to be coaching and hands-on, and the position coach hands-on with your players. Again, the higher you get up the ladder, the less you do of what got you there. So he is managing the team, managing the coaching staff, managing the media, managing the general manager, and managing ownership. And if he can galvanize all those vectors and lead them, that's what makes a successful head coach. And I believe Anthony Lynn has that personality trait.
This offseason, the two big stories for me were quarterbacks, obviously Tampa Bay and Green Bay, what's happened there. If you put your general manager hat back on, say you're the Tampa Bay Bucs GM, you have Jameis Winston, 5,000 yards passing, 30 touchdowns, but 30 interceptions, and you're 7-9. Do you take the chance to let him go, former number 1 overall pick, and bring in Tom Brady for maybe, 1, 2, 3 years? Is that something that you could see yourself doing?
I look at it as a chess move. And you say, what's a chess move? It's not how the move sets you up for this first move, but how it positions you for that second move. So think about it this way. You got Bruce Arians, you got Tom Brady, and then think about you got Byron Leftwich as your offensive coordinator. Tom Brady comes in, and they're trying to duplicate what Denver did with Manning. Have 2 years with Bruce and Tom, get that organization into the playoffs, hopefully working for a Super Bowl, but establish some consistency and a mantra in there that, hey, this is our system. And then guess who's waiting in the wings? Byron Leftwich, and he's learning from Tom Brady as the offensive coordinator from the greatest of all times, how to manage and run an offense. So who knows how long Bruce or Brady have. When they say bye-bye, you have the built-in replacement right there underneath you with Byron Leftwich, and then that's when you keep continuity. And when you have continuity with systems and personnel and front office managers and coaches, you have a better chance of being consistent on the field.
I got a question. Yeah. Well, what happens if Byron Leftwich takes over for Bruce Arians? Who's taking over for Tom Brady?
Well, that puts the pressure on the GM, Jason Light. But while you're doing this, then you start, now that you have this plan in place, now you start saying, how do I position myself to find that next quarterback? And it starts by what's coming out next year, what's coming out the year after that. Then you start positioning yourself to either start selling off some or for future to get up in the draft to go pick somebody, or you start mortgaging some trades and stuff like that. So that's that second part of it.
So continuity has clearly been the key in New England, most likely Pittsburgh and Seattle as well. Why don't you think other organizations follow that blueprint as opposed to being so quick to get rid of coaches and so quick to wipe out
GMs.
Front offices and GMs so quickly?
Here's my thought process. If you look at most of the teams that are consistently competing, the culture is set by ownership. It's not set by the coach or a GM. Because if it's set by a coach or the GM and it's not the right culture, then you got to get rid of them and try someone else. But if it's set by the ownership, you hire the GM and the coach that fits into that culture vacuum. And that's how you can get consistency, and that's how you get continuity. But New England, they got it right with Belichick. So that is already set, and ownership subscribed to it. But I know from my Pittsburgh days, it was set from up top. So when you walked in that door, be it a player, a coach, a personnel guy, you knew what was expected. And guess what? You didn't even think about going in the opposite way.
Yeah, well, that's why your man Anthony Lynn has been set up, unfortunately, for failure. You know, it is leadership, and we've learned it here, Doug. I mean, we are a scorned fan base of people who supported the San Diego Chargers for 50 plus years and had them move to 100 miles north and pretty much say screw you to the city of San Diego. Don't even get me started, because there's a lot of politics in play there too. So there's blame on the other side.